text today is from Malachi, chapter 4. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be as... Yes?
I'm sorry, Parson. I don't want to disturb the services.
You already have. You don't come to this church very often, Marshal. And when you got married today, you didn't see fit to be married here. What could be so important to bring you here now?
I need help. It's true I haven't been a church-going man, and maybe that's a bad thing. And I didn't get married here today because my wife's a Quaker. But I came here for help because there are people here.
I'm sorry, Marshal. Say what you have to say.
Maybe some of you already know it, but if you don't, it looks like Frank Miller's coming back on the noon train. And I need all the special deputies I can get.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Hold it a minute. Hold it. Before we go rushing out into something that ain't going to be so pleasant, let's be sure we know what this is all about. What I want to know is this. Ain't it true that Kane ain't no longer marshal? And ain't it true there's personal trouble between him and Miller? Why should you... I'm not going to... All right. Quiet, everybody. If there's a difference of opinion, let everybody have a say. But let's do it like grown-up people. And let's get all the kids out of the building.
Anything on the train?
It's on time as far as I know, sir.
I say it don't really matter if there's anything personal between Miller and the marshal here. We all know who Miller is and what Miller is. What's more, we're wasting time.
Well, let me get... All right. Quiet.
Yes, we all know who Miller is, but we put him away once. And who saved him from hanging? The politicians up north. I say this is their mess. Let them take care of it.
You're right. Quiet.
Well, I say this. We've been paying good money right along for a marshal and deputies. Now, the first time there's any trouble, we're supposed to take care of it ourselves. Well, what have we been paying for all this time? I say we're not peace officers. This ain't our job.
I've been saying right along we ought to have more deputies. If we did, we wouldn't be facing this thing now.
Just a minute. Everybody quiet. Keep it orderly. You had your hand up, Ezra?
I can't believe I've heard some of the things that have been said here. You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Sure, we paid this man, and he was the best marshal this town ever had. And it ain't his trouble, it's ours. I tell you, if we don't do what's right, we're going to have plenty more trouble. So there ain't but one thing to do now, and you all know what that is.
Go ahead, Kippy.
This whole thing's been handled wrong. Here's those three killers walking the streets bold as brass. Why didn't you arrest them, Marshal? Why didn't you put them in jail where they ought to be? Then we'd only have Miller to worry about instead of the four of them.
I haven't anything to arrest them for, Mr. Trumbull. They haven't done anything. There's no law against them sitting on a bench at the depot.
I can't listen to any more of this. What's the matter with you people? Don't you remember when a decent woman couldn't walk down the street in broad daylight? Don't you remember when this wasn't a fit place to bring up a child? How can you sit here and talk like this?
What are we all getting so excited about? How do we know Miller's on that train anyway?
Oh, we can be pretty sure he's on it. Time's getting short. Parson, you got anything to say?
I don't know. The commandments say, thou shalt not kill, but we hire men to go out and do it for us. The right and the wrong seem pretty clear here. But if you're asking me to tell my people to go out and kill, and maybe get themselves killed, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
All right. I'll say this. What this town owes Will Kane here, he can never pay with money. And don't ever forget it. He's the best marshal we ever had. Maybe the best marshal we'll ever have. So if Miller comes back here today, it's our problem, not his. It's our problem because this is our town. We made it with our own hands, out of nothing. And if we want to keep it decent, keep it growing, we've got to think mighty clear here today. And we've got to have the courage to do what we think is right, no matter how hard it is. All right. There's going to be fighting when Kane and Miller meet. And somebody's going to get hurt, that's for sure. Now, people up north are thinking about this town. Thinking mighty hard, thinking about sending money down here to put up stores and to build factories. It'll mean a lot to this town, an awful lot. But if they're going to read about shooting and killing in the streets, what are they going to think then? I'll tell you. They're going to think this is just another wide open town. And everything we worked for will be wiped out. In one day, this town will be set back 5 years. And I don't think we can let that happen. Mind you, you all know how I feel about this man. He's a mighty brave man, a good man. He didn't have to come back here today. And for his sake and the sake of this town, I wish he hadn't. Because if he's not here when Miller comes, my hunch is there won't be any trouble. Not one bit. Tomorrow we'll have a new marshal. And if we can all agree here to offer him our services, I think we can handle anything that comes along. To me, that makes sense. To me, that's the only way out of this. Will, I think you better go while there's still time. It's better for you, and it's better for us.
Thanks.